Hello everyone, welcome to this class on Shakespeare and introduction to Twelfth Night. So as you all know, Shakespeare belongs to the Elizabethan era, and the medieval romanticism found its full expression in the Elizabethan poetry, in the works of Elizabethan writers, especially Shakespeare, Sidney Spencer, and others. And coming to Shakespeare, he was a playwright, a writer of sonnets, so a writer of long narrative poems. He got his education from a grammar school, and he was a popular playwright, who was a cause of envy for many other university scholars, because during that time there was a group of dramatists who were called university wits, who were scholars from Oxford and Cambridge, like Robert Greene, this Christopher Marlowe, Thomas Lodges, and many others. So they envied him and criticized him for his popularity, and even this Robert Greene once made a comment that he is an upstart crow who beautified himself with the borrowed feathers. So he was criticized by his contemporaries, but nevertheless he was a very popular playwright, and his plays were enacted in the court of Queen Elizabeth. Even this play that we are going to learn, Twelfth Night, is one such play. So when we talk about his literary career, he wrote 37 plays. He wrote comedies, tragedies, tragicomedies, and so on. He composed 154 sonnets, and he wrote 2 long narrative poems, Rape of Lucrece and Venus and Adonis. And the themes of Shakespearean sonnets include love, beauty, passage of time, morality, forgiveness, and so on. And his works can be divided into different belonging to different period. First one, the early period, where we find the works like Titus Andronicus, Henry, the first part of Henry the Sixth, Love's Labor Lost, Two Gentlemen of Verona. All these were early plays. And during the second period, we find certain comedies, great comedies coming up. Now, the first period is called the period of experimentation, you can say. And during that time, he wrote early long narrative poems as well. And the second period is when we have these lighter comedies and also a few chronicle plays. We have this Twelfth Night, As You Like It, Much Ado About Nothing, The Merchant of Venice during this period. And during the third period, we have this 4 great tragedies. This Hamlet, Macbeth, King Lear, Othello, even Julius Caesar, All's Well That Is In, and darker comedies like Measure for Measure, came up during this period. And the fourth period, that is the last phase, where he wrote romances of love and reconciliation, especially Tempest, then Coriolanus, then Antony and Cleopatra, or Pericles. They belong to this period. We can divide. This is a brief brief account of his literary contribution. And let's come to the comic plays, because this Twelfth Night that we are going to discuss is a comedy. So coming to his comedies, we can divide his comedies into 3 broad categories. One is the early comedies, then the mature comedies, and the somber comedies. So the first part, the Love's Labor Lost, The Two Gentlemen of Verona, Taming of the Shrew, Comedy of Errors, they are early comedies. And the mature comedies include Midsummer Night's Dream, Merchant of Venice, Much Ado About Nothing, Twelfth Night, and As You Like It. And the somber comedies, Merry Wives of Windsor, All's Well That Ends Well, Measure for Measure, Winter's Tale, and Tempest. So those are mature, those are somber comedies, or you can say dark comedies. So, we need to be looking to certain other things as well. These categories. Why are these categories made? Because these early comedies, they show certain signs of immaturity. You can say, that was a time when he was experimenting. The plots were less original, and but when we come to this mature comedies, real comic genius of Shakespeare is found in these plays, full of love, romance, vigor, vitality, humor, and we have well finished characters, unlike the other one. And the last one belongs to the period of great tragedies. It was written after the great tragedies, and these comedies have a very serious and somber tone and mood. And coming to those characteristic features of Shakespearean comedy, the first feature is romance. In all these comedies, we find romance. Shakespearean comedy is a romantic comedy. Blend of romance and realism is there. There will be a struggle of lovers, and they finally will overcome and ends happily. Then realism, it can be related to real life, and moreover, this love always ends with marriage in this comedies. And then we have Shakespearean heroines who are very interesting in these comedies, especially in Merchant of Venice, in All's Well. I mean, this As You Like It, in Twelfth Night. These Shakespearean heroines they play a leading role and surpass their male counterparts, unlike in tragedies. In tragedies, we have the heroes playing the key role, but here most often we find heroines playing the key role. They are endowed with wit, common sense, human feeling, and they are wise, charming, beautiful, and so on. And another feature, very interesting feature that we find in almost all the comedies, it's disguise. The use of even a gender reversal is also there. Man disguising as a woman, woman disguising as a man. The use of dramatic device of disguise is very common in these comedies, and also it was easier for men to play the role of women, because there weren't actually female players, and even the roles of women were done by male players. Then humor, of course, is the soul of Shakespearean comedy. It arouses very thoughtful humor. And then there is this mixture of tragic as well as comic elements. In most of these comedies, the tragedy might have happened already. There would be a mention of some shipwreck or some sort of tragedy that already befell these characters. But the main theme is actually comic. It has got a happy ending as well. And this music and songs, the presence of music, there will be songs. The fools especially would sing songs which are very thoughtful, which reflects the theme of the play. And in the play that we are going to learn this 12th night, music plays a very important role. We have quite a number of songs played sung by the fools, and even the main character hero, he muses that the music be the food of love, then play on. Music is it's an integral part in Shakespearean comedies. So these are a few things that we need to remember before going to the play 12th Night. This 12th Night, or What You Will, the title was What You Will, and it was later on changed to 12th Night. 12th Night is after the 12th night of Christmas, 12th night after Christmas, that is 6th of January, which is the day of Feast of Epiphany. And this was actually a play which was made to impress Queen Elizabeth, and Queen Elizabeth was actually entertaining another duke, and it was for that purpose that Shakespeare actually wrote this. And some say that there are different theories for the origin of this play, this 12th night. But some say that this Lady Olivia that is mentioned here, she actually is she stands for Queen Elizabeth, and the Duke whom this Queen was trying to entertain is Duke Orsino in the play, and Malvolio, the controller of household of Queen Elizabeth. There is one person who is called who's a Puritan, and he's then the reference to that person is made with the character Malvolio in the play. So nevertheless, we find certain kind of even without these associations, even without these identities, the play is very interesting. And some they say that he actually borrowed it from some other comedies, but nevertheless the play was an instant success. And let's come to the characters. The main characters are the Duke. One is the Duke Orsino, Duke of Illyria. Then Olivia, the lady whom he is trying to woo. And then we have a few people in the household of Olivia. One is Sir Toby, her uncle, Maria the servant there, Feste the fool. Then there is another person, Sir Andrew, whom the Sir Toby has brought in order to woo Olivia. And then the steward of the house, Malvolio. Then there is a twin. We have an interesting twins here. One is Sebastian and Viola. Both look alike. And during the shipwreck, they got separated. And when the play starts, we find Viola being disguised as a man, as Cesario. And that actually changes the course of the story. And finally, everybody comes to know about this disguise, and the story ends happily. So this Viola, she's actually separated from her brother Sebastian, and she decides to cross-dress as a boy to take up this job at the Duke Orsino's court as a page called Cesario, and she instantly falls in love with the Duke. And Olivia, she was actually mourning the death of her brother and didn't want to see any man in his life. But she falls in love with Cesario, who is sent as a messenger by Duke Orsino. But later on, she marries Sebastian. So Toby Welch is Olivia's uncle, as I told you, is a very fat, noisy man interested in merrymaking. And towards the end of the play, we find that he has married. He agreed to marry Maria the servant, and he was involved in the plot to expose Malvolio's hypocrisy. Malvolio is the steward there. Sir Andrew Egujic is a very rich man but very stupid. A young knight whom Sir Toby has brought for money to woo this lady Olivia. Maria is a very clever servant maid, and she cares for her mistress. She's witty and observant, and she is the one who is behind. She played a very important role to expose the hypocrisy of Malvolio. Then Feste is the jester, the fool. Malvolio, the steward, who is very narrow-minded, humorless, who didn't like this merrymaking of Sir Toby and Andrew Egujic. He's a Puritan, but at the same time a hypocrite. He also wanted to woo this lady Olivia, but he hid his feelings. Sebastian is the twin brother of Viola, whom everybody thought to be dead, but finally comes with Antonio, a sailor, and marries Lady Olivia. Coming to the themes, the main themes are desire and love, ambition, appearance and reality, romance. This appearance and reality, it runs throughout, and it's about deception, how appearances can be deceptive. So that is a key theme that runs throughout the play. So, I hope you have got a very brief introduction to the play 12th Night. And when the play opens, we find the Duke Orsino in the court, musing about love, musing about Lady Olivia. So that is Act 1, Scene 1. So in the first act, we have got 5 scenes. One is set in Duke Orsino's court, and then one we have an account of Viola. We have this one scene is set in Lady Olivia's household. So the first act itself introduces us to most of all the characters, and we get the flavor of the play, how the comedy takes the turn. So I hope you all have the textbooks with you. So I want you to take Act 1, Scene 1.